Hello students, in this video we are going to learn about immunity. What is immunity? Immunity is our power to fight against diseases, and it depends from individual to individual that what your immunity is. You must have seen that when the winter comes, some students they get cold and cough immediately, and some, even the whole winter passes, they don't get any kind of cough, cold. Why? It's because of the strong immunity. In present days of corona, the immunity is the must spoken topic, because everywhere you will find the immunity booster things. For boosting your immunity, you should do this, you should do that. So why this immunity is very important? Because this immunity is the thing in our body which is protecting us from the diseases. It depends how healthy we are, how we are keeping fit. If it all depends on our immunity, it's like army of any country. If your army is strong enough, then there are no worries. You can sleep with full peace that yes, our strong army is at the borders and the army is capable of protecting us. Similarly, if your immunity is strong, doesn't matter how many infections are there in the air, in the water, in the soil, you can keep yourself healthy if your immunity is strong. So what is this immunity that we are going to learn today, and how this immunity is functioning in our body, how it functions in our body? This we are going to learn today in this video. Immunity is the ability of body to fight the disease causing organism. That is called immunity. The same conditions are there, same weather conditions, same water, same food, same air, same surroundings, but still some children fall sick very early, very fast, and some they resist the diseases for quite long. So that is because of the immunity, difference in the immunity. So immunity is the capability of our body to fight against diseases. Now, what there are different types of immunities, mainly two types of immunity: innate and acquired. Now, as the name suggests, innate immunity is the immunity which is with us since our birth. So, since our birth, we are having this immunity with us. And another type of immunity is acquired immunity, which we are acquiring in our lifetime. We are acquiring that immunity. We are getting that immunity, but it is not inside us since our birth. Innate immunity is the immunity which is present since our birth. So first we will discuss about the kinds of innate immunity. Innate immunity is present from the time of birth. It is non-specific. Non-specific means it is not specific for the enemy. For example, you are having doors and windows in your houses. So the door is non-specific. The door will let in the your guest. It will let in your friend. It will let in your mate. Even it will let in your enemy. So it is non-specific. It is the function of that door is to let in or to let out. It will allow or it will not allow the outsider to come in or go out. That is the function of the door. But door is a barrier. Door is a barrier. You can use that door to stop the enemy to come in. So that door is a barrier, but it is not specific. You cannot tell the door, okay, let the Ram come in and let Sham not come in. So that is not, that specificity is not there with the innate immunity. So innate immunity is also the immunity which is non-specific. It is consisting of four kinds of barriers. First is physical barrier. Physical barrier, the main physical barrier is our skin, which we are having all over our body. So this skin is the physical barrier which is stopping each and every pathogen, disease causing organism, germ to enter into our body. So this is the skin is the barrier, first type of innate immunity with us. Then mucus coating. There is a mucus coating. In epithelium is secreting mucus, and this mucus coating is there in our respiratory tract, in our gastrointestinal tract, in our urogenital tract. So these tracts are having the epithelium which is secreting mucus, and this mucus coating is preventing the entry of microbes into our body. So, skin and the mucus coating of these tracts. This is physical barrier. They are physically stopping the pathogens, the germs, the disease germs to enter into our body. Now, another type of innate immunity which we are having in our body since our birth are physiological barriers. Now, what are these physiological barriers? The acid on our stomach. Suppose you have eaten disease germs with your food, but your stomach is secreting acid, and these germs will get killed because of this acid. So this is a physiological barrier. Then saliva in your mouth. This saliva in your mouth is also another physiological barrier which is there with you and which is acting as a protection for you against the germs. Then tears from eyes. Whenever there is any dust or any germ getting into your eyes, there are tears coming out of your eyes. So these tears are also barrier. They will remove the dust, they will remove the germs from your eyes, they will not let them get into your body. So the acid in your stomach, the saliva in your mouth, and the tears of your eyes. These all are physiological barriers which are there with you to help you, to protect you from the germs, from the foreign particles. Then there is cellular barriers. These cellular barriers, as the name suggests, they are present in the cells. They are the cells, such as the blood. Blood is having leukocytes, such as polymorphonuclear leukocytes, monocytes, neutrophils. These are the cells which are acting as army of our body. They are attacking the foreign particles. And there are tissues which have macrophages. These macrophages, they phagocyte the microbes. Suppose there is any microbe in our body, so they phagocyte. Phagocyte means they surround it and they eat it. That is called phagocytosis. So this phagocytosis, they phagocyte the microbes. These macrophages, they phagocytes the microbes which are entering into our body. So this is the third type of innate immunity in our body which is present in the cell as cellular barriers. Then there is fourth type of innate immunity which is called cytokine barriers. Now what are these barriers? They are the special proteins which are the special proteins are called interferons. Now these special proteins are secreted by the cells which are infected by virus. The cells which are infected by virus, they secrete some special proteins, and these special proteins are called interferons. Now these interferons prevent the other cells from getting infected by virus. That means virus infected cells are secreting special proteins which are preventing other cells from getting the infection of virus. So these special proteins are interferons. They are called interferons, and this type of barrier is called cytokine barrier. So these are the four types of kinds of barriers which are present in our body as innate immunity of our body, which is present since our birth, but they are not specific. There are physical barriers, psychological barriers, cellular barriers, and cytokine barriers. Now let us move to acquired immunity. Acquired immunity means which is acquired by us. So it is produced. We are doing something to produce it. So it is acquired, which means that it is produced in response to an encounter with a pathogen. Suppose there is a pathogen. What is pathogen? Disease causing organism. So if a disease germ is there, so seeing that disease germ, our body will prepare itself to fight against this. And this is specific. This immunity is specific because this immunity is only for that pathogen. For example, thieves come. Okay, a thief come into your house. Now when the thief enters into your house and you come out, you fight with him, and then you somehow manage to defeat him and he runs away. But now you know that what is the power of that thief. So next time when that thief comes, you are preparing yourself. Oh, that was muscularly strong. So okay, let's bring two muscular men to fight that against that thief. So your body is prepared. Your house is prepared for that particular thief. Similarly, when there is any pathogen microbe in our body, disease causing microbe in our body, so body fights with it, but body, it is memory based, and body recognizes, body keeps it in memory that okay, this pathogen is like that. So next time when this pathogen comes again, the body is fully prepared to fight against that, and that is called secondary response. First was primary response, second was secondary response, and secondary response is very, very efficient, very, very fruitful. So when a pathogen for the first time infects a person, low intensity immune response is generated, and this response is called primary response. So whenever the foreign body is coming into our body, that is called antigen. And in response to that antigen, the body produces antibody. And this antibody, presence of this antibody decides that how long and how much harm that pathogen can do to our body. If the antibodies are strong enough and if the number of antibodies are many in our body, then that disease organism cannot do anything for us. It cannot do any harm to our body. But if the antibodies are not there in the body and the antigen is very strong, then it can defeat and it can cause infection in our body. Now, first time when the antigen infects, when the first time the pathogen is infecting a person, there is a low intensity immune response, and this is called primary response. When the same pathogen attacks again, intensified immune response is generated and thereby preventing the occurrence of disease. This is called secondary response. Actually, what is happening in vaccine? Vaccine is based on this. In vaccine, what are we giving in vaccine? In vaccine, we are giving inactivated form of the pathogen. The inactivated form of the pathogen we are giving into the body. So that inactivated is not able to cause the disease itself, but it will start the production of antibodies for that antigen in our body. So when the actual attack is there, then the antibodies are ready to fight against that. So vaccination is functioning on that only. So acquired immunity, this is acquired immunity. It involves two types of cells, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. Now these B lymphocytes, they are secreting proteins which are called antibodies in response to the pathogens. So pathogens are foreign bodies, antigens, and in response to this foreign bodies, the antibodies are produced in our body. Now, these antibodies are the specialized proteins which are produced, which are formed by the B lymphocytes. And these are having 4 peptide chains, 2 light and 2 heavy. That's why we denote it as H2L2. H2L2 is the antibody structure, which is having 2 heavy chain of peptide and 2 light chains of peptides. And what are the different forms of the antibodies? Can are of different types: IgM, immunoglobulin A, IgM, IgA, IgE. These are the different types of antibodies which our body produce. Now they generate humoral immune system because these lymphocytes are present in the blood. So that's why this immune response of our body is called humoral immune response. Humoral is for blood. So blood immune, the response of the immunity by blood. So that's why this is called humoral immune response. Now this acquired immunity is of 2 types. One is humoral immune response and second is cell mediated response. But before that, we will see the structure of the antibody. See, this is the structure of the antibody. It is having, these are the long chains, 2 heavy chains, H2, and these are the 2 light chains, L2. So it is H2, L2. Now this is variable. Variable means it keeps changing. And this is called antigen binding site. So this is very specific. So every antibody is specific for its antigen. It will not bind with any other antigen. So these are the antigen binding sites which can bind the specific antigen only. So these are the antigen binding sites on a antibody. So this is the molecule of antibody having 2 peptide chains. One is heavy, 2 are heavy chains and 2 are light chains. So 4 peptide chains are there. That's why it is called H2L2. 2 heavy and 2 light chains. Okay, so one type of acquired immunity was humoral immune response, which is formed by which is there in the body by formation of antibody. So antibody production is there in the humoral immune response. The another type of response which is also acquired is cell mediated immune response, and this is by the T lymphocytes. Now, these T lymphocytes, they do not produce antibodies like B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes produce antibodies, but these T lymphocytes, they only help B cells to produce antibodies. And they generate cell-mediated immune response. Now, what is cell-mediated immune response? This is the immune response of the body which differentiate between self and non-self. This is a part of my body and this is not a part of my body. So it will reject that. For example, when there are organ transplantations, so many tests have to be conducted before the transplantation. Suppose there is kidney transplantation. So before kidney transplantation, they will check whether the blood groups are matching, whether the tissues are matching, whether the other things are matching. Then only they will transplant kidney into the body of the patient. Now, when the donor's kidney is there in the body of the other person, the body will not accept that kidney because that kidney is not the part of that body. So what will happen? The body can recognize what is self and what is not self. And when it is non-self, it will reject it. So this is called the graft rejection. Whenever there are organ transplantation, the body rejects the foreign tissue. Body rejects the foreign organ. So whenever there are in these kidney transplantations and other transplantation, the patient has to be on immunodepressants for lifelong. Lifelong, he or she has to take the medicines which will depress his or her immunity, because If the cell mediated response is there, then the body will reject the new tissue, and it is called graft rejection, and that will not be able to function properly in the patient's body. So that is called cell mediated immune response. So two types of immune responses are there in acquired immunity. One is when the body is producing antibodies with the help of the beta B lymphocytes, and in response to the foreign particles, in response to the pathogens, and they are antigen specific, because every antibody is having antigen binding site, and they can bind with the specific antigen only. Another type is cell mediated, which is there, this immunity is there to discriminate between the self and non-self. If it is non-self, it will discriminate, it will remove it, or it will not let it survive into the body. Now, the another terms which are there in the immunity is passive and active. Now, what is the English literally meaning active and passive? Passive is not doing anything, just getting what you want. And active is when you are participating, when you are, because your teacher also tells you, now you are active listener and you are passive, sitting passively in your class. So that means passive means not doing anything, and active is you are active, you are doing something for it. So active immunity is the immunity when the person is producing antibodies in response to the antigen. Suppose there is antigen in the body, suppose there is some infection in the body will produce antibodies in response to that antigen. And these antibodies will fight with those antigens and will clear off the infection. This is called active immunity. So this is a naturally acquired immunity produced in the host body in response to an antigen. Immunization. Now, what is happening in immunization? As I told you, when we are getting a vaccine for any disease, suppose we are getting vaccine for hepatitis, we are getting vaccine for polio, we are getting vaccine for TB, we are getting vaccine for any disease. So, whenever we are getting vaccine, in vaccine, what are we getting? We are getting the causative organism, but in inactive form. And this causative organism is generating, it's helping the production of antibody in our body. So actively the body will start producing antibodies. And when in future there is actual attack by that organism, the body is ready with its antibodies to fight against those diseases. So immunization and body naturally getting immune to a microbe that had caused infection previously are examples of active immunity. Is passive immunity. Now suppose there is emergency. Suppose there is snake bite. So what will you do? You will not wait for the body to produce antibodies for that venom, and then the antibodies will fight till that time the person will die. So in that case, we have to inject the ready-made antibodies into the body. Suppose the individual has got is bitten by a snake. So snake venom is there in the body. So what the doctor will do? Doctor will inject ready-made antibodies into the individual's body, and this is called passive immunity. Passive immunity means the body has not produced the antibodies himself or herself, but body antibodies have been injected, ready-made antibodies have been injected from outside into the individual to protect the individual from foreign agents. So this type of immunity is called passive immunity. Colostrum. Colostrum, when we were discussing about reproduction, and the colostrum is the first yellow milk which comes out from the breast of a lactating mother. The colostrum is the yellow thick milk, and this colostrum is very, very important for the child, because this colostrum contains antibodies. So they are like a passive immunity for the child. These are the antibodies which will go into the child's body. So child is having immunity. So this is an example of passive immunity when the child is getting IgA, which is present in the mother's milk, the first milk, that is yellow milk, which is called colostrum. Then fetus also get antibodies from mother through placenta. So through placenta also the fetus is getting ready-made antibodies. So that is also passive immunity. So passive immunity is the immunity where the antibodies, ready-made antibodies, are injected into the body from outside. The body is not doing anything about it. The body is just receiving those antibodies. That is passive. Active is when the body is producing antibodies against the antigens which are present in the body. So this is the difference between active and passive immunity. Now, how does vaccination help? Vaccines are what? As I told you, vaccines are nothing but inactivated pathogens. Inactivated pathogens are introduced in our body. So, our body is ready with the antibodies. Now, these inactivated pathogens, when introduced in the body, produce a primary immune response. Okay, now this depends. These B and T cells, they work on memory. They remember the antigen. So they remember the antigen, and when next time when the same antigen is entering into the body, now they are ready with the antibodies to attack that. So these inactivated pathogens, when introduced in the body, produce a primary immune response, and antibodies are produced against the pathogen. Now, this primary immune response is not very effective, but the secondary is very effective. So vaccines are inactivated pathogens or dead pathogens which cannot cause the infection. So memory B and T cells are produced. Memory B and T lymphocyte cells, they are produced, and they will produce the antibodies. Now, when the pathogen again attacks the person, memory B and T cell generate a massive immune response, and the pathogen is killed. Okay. So this is how a vaccine helps. Suppose you have taken any vaccine. Once you have taken the vaccine, and suppose in later years of your life, you are actually infected by that particular germ, then what will happen? Your body is ready with the antibodies. Your body, with the memory of the B and T cells, the body is ready to fight with that particular antigen. And this second response would be the massive immune response, and the pathogen is killed. So this is how a vaccine is helping. So these days there are certain problems also the immune system. Suppose you are having bodyguards, the bodyguards are there, and you are free. Okay, I am having very good bodyguards, but these bodyguards might attack you also. So that is the problem. Similarly, the immune system is also problem. Allergy. What is allergy? Allergy is the exaggerated immune response to against certain antigen. Now, certain antigens are there which are not very harmful, but the body will respond to them very in an exaggerated, create the inflammation in your body. So this is the example of allergy. Allergy is what? Allergy is exaggerated immune response to certain antigens present in the environment. For example, you start coughing, you start sneezing, the tears start coming out of your eyes. It is because of the dust, or it can be because of the pollen. It can be because of something which you don't eat and you have eaten suddenly. So these are the substances which are causing exaggerated immune response in your body, and these substances are called allergens. And these allergens are the substances in response to which allergy is produced. Now, what are the common allergens? Dust, pollen, dust mites. You go to any room where the dusting is taking place, or you must have seen asthma patients where whenever there is some dust or some pollen, they start breathing problem and this. So this is allergy, allergy to dust, allergy to pollen. So, and what are the antibodies involved in it? IgE. During allergic reactions, what happens? The chemicals such as histamines and serotonins are released. These are the chemicals which are released when the body is giving exaggerated immune response to certain substance outside. Now, what are the symptoms? Sneezing, watery eyes, difficulty in breathing, etc. Now, how can you test whether you are allergic to something or not? You have to take some doses of those allergens and see your response. So, how in allergy test, the patients are injected with small doses of allergens to monitor their response. Suppose you are allergic to dust, so you will be taken to a place where there is dust. Now, what are the medicines which are given for this allergy? Antihistamines, because histamines are the cause for the allergic reactions. So, antihistamines are given, adrenalines are given, and steroids may be given so that the symptoms of the allergy subside. So, this is one problem of the immune system, allergy. Another problem is autoimmunity. Auto means self. The body, the immune system of body will start fighting with own body. It will start destroying its own cells, and that is called autoimmunity. Body generates immune response against its own cell, and the reasons are not yet very clear. There may be genetic or other unknown reasons. And the best example of this autoimmunity is rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis is the autoimmune disease. Now we know what is immunity. Autoimmunity, the immunity is innate immunity and acquired. In acquired, there is antibody humoral immune response, then cell mediated response, then there is active immunity, there is passive immunity, then there is problems also, allergy is there, autoimmunity is there. But what are the things what are the organs in the human body which are responsible for these immunity? Now, human immune system is consisting of lymphoid organs. Now, these lymphoid organs are of two types: primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organs are bone marrow, where the blood cells are formed. So, lymphocytes are also formed here, and thymus. Here, immature lymphocytes. Lymphocytes are formed and they are differentiated to form antigen sensitive lymphocytes. The functional lymphocytes are the lymphocytes which are antigen sensitive. So first the lymphocytes are formed, then these lymphocytes will get differentiated into antigen sensitive lymphocytes. So bone marrow, here all blood cells including lymphocytes are produced, and thymus is responsible for maturation of T lymphocytes. This is lobed organ situated near the heart and keeps on reducing in size as age increases. At puberty, if you see the size of the thymus at birth, and at puberty, it will be half of the size at puberty. So the size of the thymus will keeps on reducing as the age increases. Now, secondary, these were the bone marrow and thymus. They are the primary lymphoid organs where actually the lymphocytes are formed. Secondary lymphoid organs are the organs where these lymphocytes migrate from the bone marrow and thymus, and there they attain their maturity. The lymphocytes migrate here after attaining maturity, and this includes spleen, lymph nodes, tonsils, the tonsils here, then Peyer's patches, intestine, and appendix. So spleen. Spleen is a large bean-shaped organ containing lymphocytes and phagocytes which acts as a filter for blood. This is a secondary lymphoid organ. Then lymph nodes are everywhere in the body where the lymph get collected, the fluid. located at different points throughout the immune system. They trap the antigen present in the lymph or tissue fluid, and these antigens cause activation of lymphocytes. What is activation of lymphocyte? The lymphocyte get activate to bind the antigen and generation of immune response. When the antigens are binded with the antibody, that is called activation of lymphocyte, and this generates the immune response. Now, malt is what? Mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. The mucus secreting cells are there, respiratory tract, digestive tract, urogenital tract. So these lines of the major tracts, they constitute 50% of the lymphoid tissue of the body, and these are called MALT, mucosal associated lymphoid tissue. And now I will show you the structure of antibody. See, this is the structure. First, look at this, the normal. Um, 4 peptide chains are there, 2 heavy and 2 light. That's why it is called H2L2. And these are the antigen binding sites. Okay, it's like a Y. Now see this. This is the antigen. V is for variable. Variable means antigen binding sites are variable. They are specific for different antigens. And this C is constant. This is always constant. This is always constant. And FAB is what? The fragment of antigen binding region. So this is the fragment where the antigens are bound. And here you will find this amino group. So this is called N site, and this is called C site. And then you will find these disulfide bonds also. These are joined by disulfide. This cleavage, the hinge region is joined by disulfide bonds. Here also you will find disulfide bonds. So this is the structure of the antibody. Light chain, heavy chain, fragment of antigen binding region. These are variables and these are constants. They do not change, but they change. So this is the structure of antibody molecule. Now, different types of antibodies, as we have discussed, the different types of antibodies, they are same, but how many of them are together, this makes the type. Like IgG, IgE, IgD, and here in IgM, you will find 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 joined together. This is IgM, and this is IgA. 2 of them are joined together. So this is joining chain and 2 of them are together, IgA, IgM. So these are the different types of antibodies. This is again the molecule of antibody. This is antigen binding site, N site, variable regions, and this is antigen binding. This is variable region of the light chain. This is variable region of the heavy chain. This is heavy chain and these are light chain. 2 light chains, 2 heavier chains. And these are disulfide bonds. Disulfide means consisting of 2 sulfur. So disulfide bonds are present and this is a constant region of heavy chain. So this is structure of a typical antibody.